Halloween, you guys. It's the one time of year where it's socially acceptable to be obsessed with the paranormal. But seriously, have you ever stopped to think about why we even celebrate this spooky holiday? Some of the answers are actually way deeper and creepier than you might think. So grab your candy corn, light some candles, but be careful, and get ready to have your mind blown, because today we're diving into 13 mysterious Halloween facts that are going to make you see this holiday in a whole new light. Let's go. Halloween is full of spooky fun and traditions, but did you know that some of its most fascinating facts are hidden in plain sight? Okay, so Halloween, it's not just some random holiday some marketing executive came up with, okay? This thing goes way back, guys, like over 2,000 years back to this ancient Celtic festival called Samhain. And let me tell you, these Celts, they were not messing around. They believed that on October 31st, the veil between the living and the dead was super thin. And I'm not talking about your grandma's curtains, okay? I'm talking about a portal, a doorway, a freaking gateway between our world and the spirit world. So naturally, they were like, we need to ward off these ghosts, enter bonfires. Apparently they thought fire scared off spirits, which honestly, fair. They'd wear costumes too. And not like cute little kitty cat costumes, but full-on scary disguises to blend in with the spirits. Can you imagine, like, walking down the street and seeing a bunch of people dressed like demons and ghouls? I mean, I'd be terrified. So we just talked about how the Celts used costumes to blend in with the spirits, and guess what? That tradition is still alive and well today. I mean, think about it. Why else would we dress up in ridiculous costumes if not to confuse the supernatural beings that might be lurking around? Okay, I'm kidding, maybe. But seriously, the whole costume thing is actually pretty fascinating when you think about its history. It's like this weird ancient tradition that's been passed down for centuries. And now we mostly just do it for fun and to get free candy, but still, there's something kind of cool about knowing that the costume you're wearing might have some connection to ancient rituals and beliefs. Moving on. All right, let's talk candy corn. I know, it's controversial. Some people love it, some people hate it. But regardless of your stance on this polarizing candy, you have to admit, its history is kind of wild. So get this, candy corn was not originally a Halloween treat. In fact, it wasn't even called candy corn. Back in the 1880s, when it was first invented, it was called chicken feed. Yeah, you heard that right, chicken feed. Apparently, it was marketed towards, like, farmers and stuff. I mean, can you imagine, like, hey, little Billy wants some chicken feed for your Halloween treat? It just doesn't have the same ring to it, you know? But for some reason, it caught on. And eventually someone decided to make it a Halloween thing, and thank goodness they did, because candy corn is like the quintessential Halloween candy. Chapter 4. The time Halloween almost died, R.I.P. Okay, so imagine this, it's the 1940s, World War II is raging, and sugar is being rationed. And what does that mean for Halloween? You guessed it, no candy. I know, it's like a nightmare come true. People were freaking out, kids were devastated, Halloween was on the verge of extinction, but then, like a beacon of hope in a dark and sugary time, the war ended. Sugar was back, baby, and Halloween was back on the menu. People went all out, trick-or-treating made a huge comeback, and the Halloween industry exploded. Chapter 5. The Jackal Lantern. Not as innocent as you think. Okay, let's talk about the OG spooky decoration, the Jackal Lantern. I mean, it's a staple of Halloween. But have you ever stopped to think about why we carve faces into pumpkins and put candles in them? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because the origin story of the Jack-o'-lantern is about to get dark. It all started with this dude named Stingy Jack. Now, Stingy Jack was, well, stingy, and he also might have been a bit of a trickster. Legend has it that he tricked the devil not once, but twice. But karma's a witch, and when Stingy Jack finally kicked the bucket, he was denied entry to both heaven and hell. So he was cursed to roam the earth for all eternity with only a carved-out turnip and a burning lump of coal to light his way. Chapter 6, Halloween, the billion-dollar spooktacular. All right, let's be real for a second. Halloween is a big deal, like a really big deal. It's not just about the costumes and the candy, although, let's be honest, those are pretty great. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Yeah, you heard that right. Billions with a B. Americans alone spend over $10 billion each year on Halloween stuff. Think about it. Costumes, decorations, candy parties, it all adds up. And you know what? I'm not even mad about it. Chapter 7. Owls, harbingers of doom, are just cute birds. Owls, they're cute, they're fluffy, and they might be a sign of impending doom. Okay, hear me out on this one. Back in medieval Europe, people were superstitious AF, like seriously superstitious. And for some reason, they decided that owls were basically witches in disguise. They come out at night, they have those piercing eyes. Maybe they were onto something anyway. If you heard an owl hooting back then, it wasn't a good sign. It was basically like getting a death omen. Chapter 8. Trick-or-treating, from ancient rituals to sugar highs. Trick-or-treating. It's the one night of the year where kids can basically extort candy from strangers. But did you know that this beloved tradition actually has its roots in some pretty dark stuff? I'm talking about souling, an ancient practice where poor people would go door to door offering prayers for the dead in exchange for food. It's kind of like a medieval version of trick-or-treating, but instead of candy, they got bread. But still, it's kind of fascinating to think about how this ancient tradition evolved into the sugar-fueled frenzy we know and love today. Chapter 9. Black cats, feline familiars, or just misunderstood. Black cats, they're sleek, they're mysterious, and they might be bad luck. Okay, I know, it's 2023, we shouldn't believe in superstitions. But there's something about black cats that just screams Halloween. Maybe it's because they've been associated with witchcraft and bad luck for centuries. Either way, there's no denying that black cats are the ultimate Halloween mascot. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about Halloween in America, but did you know that this holiday is celebrated all over the world? And guess what? It's not all about the candy and costumes. In some cultures, Halloween is a time to honor and remember loved ones who have passed away. Take Mexico's Dia de los Muertos, for example. It's a beautiful and colorful celebration of life and death where families gather to remember their ancestors and celebrate their lives. It's a far cry from the spooky, commercialized Halloween we're used to, but it's a reminder that this holiday has different meanings for different people around the world. All right, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love pumpkins, pumpkin spice lattes, pumpkin pie, pumpkin carving. I'm here for it all. But did you know that pumpkins weren't always the star of Halloween? I know, it's hard to imagine a world without pumpkin spice everything. But back in the day, when the tradition of carving jack-o'-lanterns first started, people actually used turnips. And let me tell you, carving a turnip is no easy feat. So when Irish immigrants brought the jack-o'-lantern tradition to America, they were stoked to discover pumpkins. Okay, let's talk about the ultimate spooky trifecta Halloween, a full moon, and paranormal activity. I know, it sounds like something out of a cheesy horror movie. But seriously, having a full moon on Halloween is actually pretty rare. And when it does happen, people believe that it amplifies all that spooky energy that's already floating around. Think about it, the veil between the living and the dead is already thin on Halloween. But add a full moon into the mix, that's just asking for trouble. Okay, guys, we've talked about a lot of weird and creepy Halloween traditions, but this one might just take the cake. Literally, I'm talking about soul cakes, a traditional Halloween treat that was baked to feed the dead. Back in the day, people believed that by making these little cakes and leaving them out for wandering spirits, they could appease them and prevent them from haunting their homes. It's like a spooky version of leaving cookies out for Santa. I mean, can you imagine? Honey, did you remember to put out the soul cakes? I don't want any angry ghosts haunting us tonight. So there you have it, guys. 13 mysterious Halloween facts that are almost as spooky as that time I found a spider in my Halloween candy. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this creepy little journey into the history of Halloween. And hey, if you learned something new, let me know in the comments. I'm always down to talk about all things spooky. Stay spooky, my friends. So now you know the 13 most fascinating Halloween facts, but we want to hear from you. Which fact gave you chills? Let us know in the comments. Hit that like button if you love Halloween, and don't forget to subscribe for more spooky stories.